So it's Monday, May 15th, 6:03 p.m. Regular meeting of the Windsor Heights City Council via Zoom. Roll call.
Susan Skerries,
Here.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Here.
Lauren Campbell,
Here.
and Teresa Harms.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excuse me. Thank you. 3A, public hearing, amendment of current budget. City of Windsor Heights fiscal year July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Motion.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skerries,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes,
Do we have an approval of the agenda? Did I miss that?
you did.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skerries,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Okay, now 3A. Motion to open public hearing.
We already did that.
Travis, do you need it again?
I have a motion by Teresa, second by Susan.
Roll call.
Susan Skerries,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Rochelle, any comments on this?
No, not unless you guys have some questions. This was just really expenses because of due to two large projects with building inspections, the fireworks contribution, our newsletter, which we didn't account for in the previous budget or in this budget, mayor council travel, the visioning services, and then the administrator search. Those are the reasons for the budget amendment.
Thanks for the overview. Appreciate the details.
Council, any questions for Rochelle? Hearing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skerries,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
3B, consideration of resolution number 2023-31.
Move
Motion.
to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Susan Skerries, Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Item 4, public forum. This is a time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. Please raise your hand within the Zoom, state your name and address for the record, and keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. I do not see any members of the public here. So take it there's no public comment. Item 5, consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Can I ask one
Yes.
question? This is to Rochelle. I just want to make sure that I understand. Did Eileen's Cookies, did they bill you or invoice you for the May movie?
They did.
Okay. Because I thought they were supposed to do the first 3 months as part of their sponsorship to us. So I'll just have to ask about that. I just wanted to make sure, and I just caught that today.
Yeah, yeah, she sent me that invoice right after the movie.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
New business, item 6A, consideration of resolution number 2023-36, a resolution establishing a seatbelt restraint use policy for the employees of the city of Windsor Heights.
Move to approve.
I would ask you just
Second.
add one amendment to that to also include not only the police department's policy, but also the fire department's policy. And the fire department's policy, it's pretty much the same. It just says if someone is working on a patient that they do not have to wear their restraint as long as they notify the driver. So I want to incorporate that into the policies to make everyone happy.
So I will move to approve the police and fire policies for employees.
And I will second that.
Any questions or discussion about this?
Mainly this is coming about from IMWCA. Just so you know, our workers' comp people, we had an injury this year, so they're coming down on us with a list of things we need to do. And this is one thing that they're rolling out statewide. So I have a letter I need to get out to them this week saying what we're going to do. We're going to institute a safety committee as a subcommittee of the Finance and Personnel Committee. And then we will have regular safety meetings with all employees going forward on all sorts of OSHA related topics, and then report those back to IMWCA. So we can basically maintain our discounts. So that's the main purpose of it.
Thanks, Travis. That's helpful.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Michael Libby,
Yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
6B, Rochelle, my understanding is that this is to be a discussion item in lieu of a consideration of a resolution.
Yes,
Okay. Could you give just council the background for reasoning for that?
sure. Bolton and Mink brought this to us. So Madison Burke, who handles all of our grants, she brought this to me and said, hey, what do you guys think about grant for some charging stations? And I said, I think that's a fine idea. Pretty sure council would be, on board to hear about it. So she called me though the other day and said, hey, I got the resolution ready for the packet, but we don't have the actual cost yet. And I said, whoa, that's not going to really work. We need costs. And she said, well, they're getting them to us. We should have them by Monday. And I was like, okay, I think we can make that work. And then she called me she called this morning. She emailed me and said the US DOT has moved the deadline back by 2 weeks. So the grant isn't due until June 13th. So we'll put this on the next agenda so we can have very much specific items for you guys to see and understand. But the gist of this is that MPO is working together to get a grant to put charging stations in the metro, and we could be part of that. We could have 2 of them. The Madison and I made the determination where to put these, which was Colby Park and Walmart, just based on what information we had, but we can put them wherever they might be the smartest place for them to go. So if it doesn't make sense for it to go to Walmart parking lot, move it somewhere else. The other thing is the cost. So we would be liable for 20% of what the cost is. And right now we're looking at about $200,000 is the cost per unit. So about $100,000 is what this would cost us if we decided to do this. But you have to remember, this is revenue generating as well. So we would set the charge or the cost to charge your vehicle. And Mid-American has all of that information, but I just didn't have it yet to get to you guys. That's why it's discussion only.
Rochelle, could you share those dollar amounts one more time? I think I missed something in my notes. So that the that we would have to match, we'd have to put in at least 20.
Yeah, 20%.
And then the total cost for the charging station is 200,000.
They think 200,000 a piece.
Okay, and so then, so that we'd be paying 40,000 per for each
Yes.
of them. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. I just want to make sure I got it right in my notes.
Sorry,
Thank-
yes, my notes I have a ton of different notes. Originally, we thought they were going to be 300,000 and then she backed it off to 200. And so, yeah, I
Thank
have
you.
anywhere between 80 and 120,000.
Well, Rochelle,
be
is this I'm sorry. Is this something that we would have to get permission from Walmart to do? Or is this something that we can just put there, or kind of what, and is Walmart agreeable to this, or have we not even broached the subject yet?
We haven't broached the subject with them yet. And depending if we do it depending on the area, it could be Colby. So it's all dependent on where you put it.
Thank you.
I definitely think I'm interested in this. I think it's consistent with our green energy, all of the, our goals and that sort of thing. I think it fits. I think we're seeing more, folks go in this direction, put charging stations in their homes, all of these sorts of things. And so, yeah, I'll be interested too in how the energy buyback goes, because I think that I understand conceptually how it works, but and then I guess the question to that would be, is that going to be I know that none of our current gas stations have them, but do any of them have plans to put them in? And then is it, so that would be I guess a question. And then where would be the ideal locations? I do think if you went with like Walmart and Colby Park, those are right next to each other. And so is there does it make sense to put one more on the one side of town and one on the other? And so certainly food for consideration or thought as we, move forward. But I definitely don't know if we should have them all in one area, and that might be something to think about as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Excellent points for sure.
And maybe finding out if any of the gas stations have plans to put them in.
Yeah,
That's
a good idea too.
Rochelle, your email, I think you had said something about what information you're going to be getting from Mid-American.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Your email had said something about Mid-American. What information are you going to be getting from them?
Well, Mid-American will be the one that will be the driver. They'll be the ones that actually would put them in for us, because that's what they do now. They have a service that does that. So they would be getting us exact costs. And then they would even help us with what kind of charges do other people in the metro charge in order to hook your car up to it. Yeah, there was so much information missing, but I at least wanted to get it to you guys so you could see that, we're thinking about it.
Hey, Rochelle, this is Justin. Can I add something to that?
Please do.
Sorry. We've been in contact with Mid-American. One of the things to keep in mind too is the charger themselves, whether it's a level 2 or level 3 charger. One of the things with one of the spots we looked at was right next to the bus stop there across from Sam's Club. One of the good things about that area is it has the power readily available to provide a level 3 charger, which is one of the faster chargers, and you can charge a little bit more for them. The thinking was it's right off of 235. People can get in and off quickly. We also looked at a level 3 charger in Colby Park, but unfortunately the power isn't there to do that. We would have had to run it from behind, I believe it was Walmart, and it was quite spendy. I'll provide those when I get some other information. So then once I got those back, I asked for a cost to do a level 2 charger, which is just slower. And it sounds like they have the power there. I just don't have the cost. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars more to run a level 3 charger there. So the power is the biggest driver on that and what you're looking for as far as level 2 or level 3 charger. So that's why we kind of tossed in the locations that we did with the convenience. And then going back to if you did end up putting them in the Colby property, we've seen cities do lease agreements with that. I don't have an example right now, but we're working on one with another community on those. So just some things to think about. Unfortunately, this thing came fast. The original grant was to do everything by yourself, and the minimum project cost was $750,000. So then the MPO thought that was going to be hard for communities to do by themselves to get that bigger cost. So then they went out and asked if communities were willing to come together to get that total cost together. So you didn't have to go up to that 750. So that's what they're doing now. Unfortunately, it was something that was put together quick, and thankfully they extended the window for 2 weeks to get some of these things together. That's what I know so far.
Thanks, Justin.
Okay, any other questions about that? All right, 7A reports. I was in Washington, D.C., so I did not get a report to Travis. I will have one next week. But thank you, Lauren, Susan, and Michael for attending and advocating and promoting our city. Therese, thank you for setting up all the appointments that you did with the delegation. Joseph, you were there in spirit. More people asked about you than they asked about me. And whenever they did ask, they asked who's the better Jones, which of course I always said was you. So I learned a lot from the trip. I learned a lot about myself, honestly. Learned a lot about how things work in DC. So it was a wonderful time. Ms. Harms.
You just gave my report. I helped facilitate some meetings and some talking points and that sort of thing to prepare for the DC trip. So congratulations on, I think, a successful trip. So good work, you guys.
Ms. Campbell.
I just want to echo Mayor Jones' comments about our time in DC. We got to be part of some really fantastic conversations and advocate on behalf of Windsor Heights. And I think we surprised some folks there with our tenacity and props that we brought with us. And thank you to Susan and Mayor Jones for coordinating and coming up with a creative Windsor Heights gift. So we took some cookies, we took some other sweets. So thank you to both of them. Also, thank you to Chief Overson and to Mayor Jones and to Joseph and Susan, who and Chief Meese, who are all part of the special events movie in the park last Friday night. Was that 2 Friday nights ago now? It's been a whirlwind, 2 Friday nights ago now. But it was kind of all hands on deck. We thought that the weather was going to cooperate and it didn't. But we ended up having a great time and able to provide dinner to some Windsor Heights residents and get some more information about other things going on in the city. Special Events Committee meets Friday, and that's all I got.
Mr. Libby.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe I've been on 5 of these BMDC trips, and this was perhaps the very best because we as Windsor Heights went there with a mission. And a real shout out to Lauren and everybody that was involved in marketing what it was that we were there to talk about. I think the humor as well as the creativity was wonderful. And it really did make an impact, I think, for sure, on Senator Ernst and Senator Grassley and Senator Grassley's staff. I mean, when you take dilly bars from the Dairy Queen in dry ice, that's pretty cool. And I'm grateful that we were able to use the city logo on those cookies from the bake shop. it was all together a great opportunity. Had the chance to visit with so many people. And because you're for 2.5 days really stuck with all of these leaders, both civic and nonprofit and business leaders and electeds, it really does give you an opportunity to communicate on a much more personal level. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to go and to represent our community. I think we did punch above our weight. I was asked several times, wow, you guys from the little community of Windsor Heights bring 4 people to talk about issues that are important to not only Central Iowa, but our community as well. So a great opportunity. And yes, Joseph, everyone did ask about you, and we sadly said that you had other duties and responsibilities, but it was a wonderful time, and thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Well, I'm glad that y'all went and represented the city. I heard nothing but great things about how well our city was represented in the delegation, and I'm glad that you all enjoyed the rest of the folks who are on the trip with you and got a chance to meet with a lot of our delegation and talk about things important to the city. So thanks for making that sacrifice to leave town for a few days to go do that. In terms of the Gross Solar project, we have an RFP that is out for the contractor for this round, and those responses are due back tomorrow. So we'll select from there, and then once that's group is chosen, then we'll start to think about when the community FYI events will happen, where people can come and learn more about the solar program and what the buy might look like for them this time around. We're still in the midst of our recruitment and search for a new DART CEO. We will have the full commission performing in-person interviews in the next couple weeks, and so process still moving forward, still very positively, and I think we're on a good track for finding our next CEO. And that's it.
Scaries.
Well, I can say the last 2 weeks have been very, very busy. On May 3rd, I attended a Metro Waste Executive Board meeting. Then our May 5th Ghostbusters movie was a bust due to the rain, but we were able to gather some names for possible witnesses to the vandalism. So I guess it wasn't all that bad. During the week, I was part of the group that met with city engineers as well as Rochelle to review our requests for letters of support from our elected leaders in DC. Basically, we were developing a game plan on how to handle the requests. So a big thank you to Teresa for all of your help and handholding prior to as well as during the DC trip. It was much appreciated. You were there with us in spirit, just like Joseph Jones was, since I think I had more pictures taken of myself with other people and sent to Joseph than anything else. But thank you to the Mayor Jones, to Lauren, to Michael Libby for the fun time that we had. We met with Grassley's staffers, Sherry, on Wednesday. That was an interesting event with dilly bars and all. Then the 4 of us were able to attend an Urbandale Chamber dinner held at the Capitol Hill Club. On Thursday, in between events coordinated by the partnership, Mayor Jones and Lauren met with Senator Ernst's staff about the grant requests as well as letters of support. At the same time, I, along with several other Des Moines area small businesses and the area chamber, attended a small business meeting with the Small Business Appropriations Committee. Senator Ernst's staffers were present and asked about issues that we see as not only businesses, but also what other area chambers are seeing as issues with small businesses. I then ran literally from one side of the Capitol to the other to make it to the roundtable meeting with Congressman Nunn, Mayor Jones, Lauren, and a host of other cities and organizations. Lauren made up banners with some great slogans to help set us apart and above the other cities. You could hear a pin drop in an otherwise noisy room when Lauren unrolled her banner. Mayor Jones, Lauren, and I then had our picture taken with Congressman Nunn as well as Senator Ernst. We were not able to get a picture with the banner that Lauren made with Senator Grassley, but Michael Libby, Lauren, and I had our picture taken with Sherry, who is probably just as important as Senator Grassley. If you have met Sherry, you know the truth to my statements. We were also able to see the World Food Prize announcement of the 2023 World Food Prize laureate. Former Governors Branstad and Vilsack were in attendance. Wednesday morning, I will be attending the Metro Women in Government meeting at the Cruz Gateway Center to hear a soccer stadium update, as well as an update from the city of Bondurant. Wednesday's Metro Waste Committee meeting was canceled, and then we have a special events committee meeting on Friday. Then to just kind of touch on a few things coming up with the Urbandale Chamber. And just to put this on your calendars, by the way, on Tuesday, May 30th, there's an AM exchange that the Urbandale Chamber puts on. It's a great way to meet new people and kind of be up and early, because I think it starts at 7:30. Then on June 2nd, we will be having Touch a Truck along with our movie, The Incredibles. We do have the CEC rented, so if the weather is like it was for the last movie, we can easily move inside. We would love to have some more volunteers sign up to help us, as this is usually a very busy event between the Touch a Truck and a movie. Then moving on, June 6th, the Urbandale Chamber is holding a Maximize Your Membership event. This runs from 9 to 10 at the Urbandale Chamber. It's packed with information on all that Urbandale's Chamber has to offer their members. On Thursday, June 8th, there's a business and social hour, better known as BASH. And the last quarter, HWCBD held the event, and it was well attended and just a great way to network. So just wanted to throw those in there, since it's kind of hard sometimes to see what Urbandale's Chamber has to offer. So that's it.
Thank you, Susan. Anything from you, Rochelle?
Nope, nothing.
All right, closed session. City Council will convene into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5 sub I to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. Motion to go into closed session number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, Michael Libby,
Yes, yes.
Lauren Campbell,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Rochelle, if you could just stop the recording here.